Hey guys, what's good? Mike here. Thanks for tuning in to another video. This video is about resumes, your resumes. 2 simple takeaways. Okay, number 1, update your resume. All right, there's a 99% chance that your resume is out of date, or 2, can be tweaked to improve the value of what your resume is saying about you. All right, that's number 1. Update your resume. Number 2, I'm going to give you some pointers, some simple tips on how to go about updating your resume. First off, your resume is important. I heard this video a long time ago, or maybe a couple years ago, from Gary Vaynerchuk saying that resumes are outdated. That's not true. Gary Vaynerchuk is in his small world. He may not look, he may hire on a whim. He may hire based on just people bringing him folks and him sitting them down. But in the world of tech, in the world of hundreds, thousands of businesses in the market, everyone, they don't hire like that. Okay, your resume is the basically the first look into somebody being interested in your value to that company. All right, so when I say resume, I'm thinking your resume in physical form, like on a PDF on your computer, so that you can email it to anybody on an instant drop of a dime, right? And also your LinkedIn account. All right, your LinkedIn account is your resume as well. So when you update your resume, you're updating the LinkedIn account. All right, so the point here is, when you update your resume, recruiters look at the words and the things and you know, the things that you're saying on your resume, so that they can see if you're a good fit, right? Keywords is important. So that's what I mean when I say it's the first line of, it's like your first line of defense. Basically, it's the first thing that people see. It's the first thing that recruiters see on LinkedIn. All right, so when everyone's scouring the web, they see your website, they see your portfolio, they look at your resume. All right, everybody wants to see your resume just to see the words, right? When I see a resume, I can glance at a resume for about 2 minutes and see through all the wording and things like that, and see if that particular client is a great fit. All right, simply by your resume. So number 1, always update your resume. Also, I posted this on Instagram not too long ago, and I went this weekend. I'm like, you know what, let me just look at my resume, man. And I spent about 2 hours updating my resume. My resume was so outdated. Like the wording and the phrasing was so wrong. So one thing to keep in mind, don't feel bad about your resume. All right, your resume is a progression. All right, your resume could be whack right now. It could look, you look at the bullet points, you're like, this is stupid, right? Listen, I'm 20 years in the game. I'm still updating my resume. So don't trip about if your resume is outdated or not. Okay, just go about updating it. It takes a few minutes here and there to update it and get it up to par, and you can be updating it every day until you like it, right? Just updating it. So that's the number 1 thing. Update your resume. Like I said, I looked at my resume this past weekend and I was like, geez. So I went through from top to bottom, updating it, changing the phrasing, changing the wording, and just updating it. So I updated my resume, and I'll put a link in the description. You can download my resume, use actually my format. Doesn't matter if the formats don't matter. It's just the actual content of your resume is what matters. Also, go to my LinkedIn account if you want to just see a digital. You look at my LinkedIn account. I'll also put a link in the description, and you can just look at the bullet points and how I phrase things. You know, take what you will. I'm not an expert in it, but this is just what I do. So if you want to copy the things that I do, go for it. Also, so that's number 1, update your resume. All right. Number 2, also the reason why you want to update your resume, you always want to be ready, right? It doesn't matter if you have a job. I have a job right now. Not that I'm actively looking, but if there's this opportunity that I can't pass up, I want to be able to, I don't want to spend 2 hours trying to update my resume at that point. I want to take 5 minutes and drop an email to that person. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important to update your resume. Number 2, how should you update your resume? Well, what are the type of things you should say? The things you want to focus on in the bullet points of each of the how you phrase things. The way I would say is this: you want to focus on the essential things rather than the mundane things that makes you a commodity in the UI UX design space. And what I mean by that, if you're only focusing on your head bullet point is, I create logos, I create graphics, I design brochures. That should be your last bullet point. Instead of saying that, you should say, I assist the creative director in producing branded medium, branded material, overseeing the launch of 3 successful projects over the last year. That's how you phrase it. But at the end of the day, your day-to-day task could be just doing logos or creating graphics. So flip what you actually do day to day into something that's more valuable rather than something that looks like a commodity. What I mean by commodity, like if somebody does logos, I can go and purchase a logo. All right. What I can't purchase the communication between somebody who's leading graphic design or UI design that communicates with creative directors, overseeing the launch of 3 successful projects. That's actually valuable to me as a hiring manager. You get what I'm saying? So turn the commodity bullet point into more value. I'll give an example. Let me show you my resume. You can, as I mentioned, so here's my resume. I blew it up in PDF. So I have my name, my big headline here, Senior Product UI UX Designer. So I have a snapshot. It talks about, just an overview of highlight of what I am. And I have my qualifications here, just some bullet points. And here, I don't know if we could zoom in a little bit, but here, what I like to do in each of my companies, I give a little snapshot of the company, just a little snapshot of the company, so that because that's important. If you leave that out, sometimes it seems a little bit more impressive if you're working for a big company or you're working for this startup that's being successful and whatnot. So that's always key. So as you see here, let me get down to my other one. So here, CBS, a little snapshot of the company, just a little paragraph. One little small couple sentences, then I get to the bullet points. But here, my company, the company that I'm working for now, leading UI UX design, designing projects from concept to production, working primarily on time and attendance. That's the product that I'm working on. Responsible for over 450 million in annual revenue. All right, that right there sounds impressive. I'm not just saying, hey, I design mock-ups. I sit at my desk and the product owner gives me something to do, and then I design mock-ups and I go home. It sounds impressive, right? Utilizing a systematic UI UX design process. You get that? I'm utilizing a systematic UI design process that ensures high level of success for each project delivered. Basically, I'm just saying here is I'm actually making something sound a little bit more valuable because I am using my UI UX design process, and my UX design process ensures a high level of success. I'm going to be talking about that in my new upcoming course. I'm going to be going over my process in more detail. So you see the phrasing here, it just sounds a little bit better. It sounds not commoditized, if you will, all right? Communicating with product owners daily, gathering clear business requirements, and delivering designs on time, right? And it goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, that's what, and then the companies that I worked for, so this was present tense. As you can see, this is a company that I work for. So it says conducting stakeholder reviews and presentations. That's what I'm doing daily. Whereas the past employers or past companies I worked for was past tense: assisted, presented, led, designed, collaborated, right? So that's past tense. Your current company, you want it to be present tense bullet points. All right. So the key things, the key takeaways. Now, you can download my resume if you want, and just take a look at it. Okay. Probably some typos or whatnot, but don't worry, I'll fix all those. But the point here is you want to focus on 2 things. Update your resume. That's the one takeaway. Number 2, phrase your bullet points into more valuable substance type of things, right? All right. Instead of commodity type of bullet points. All right. I sit in a corner and I spit out brochures, graphics for brochures. That's a commodity. All right. I can, instead of hiring that person, I can purchase template brochures myself. All right. But if you phrase it in a different way, I work with stakeholders daily, you know. I study, capturing product requirements, researching the competitive landscape, and producing branded, you know, brochures that supports online marketing campaigns. Now that sounds a lot better than, hey, I just sit in the corner and I produce graphics. You get what I'm saying? So change the wording. Go more meat and more value rather than commodity. All right, that's my message today. Update your resume and update the phrasing on your bullet points. Check my resume out for tips or for a reference. Use the things that I say in there, and ask me any questions if you're stuck at this point. Hit me up in the comments below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like the things that I talk about, and go to my website, mlwebco.com, if you want to contact me. Send me an email. Use the contact link on my site, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Hit the like button if you like the things I talk about, guys. All right, we'll talk soon. Have a blessed week, productive week, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.